first draft in the Gwen, in the Yanni, getting banned away here by WE.
Yeah, that Gwen, I'm surprised that EDG didn't end up taking it, but hey, listen, it paid off for them. They went and they go ahead and they take game one. Another Skarner ban. I imagine Monki's just not going to see this champion all day. I think that's a great way to start your strategy of attacking Team WE. Got to be in the jungle position, taking out his best champions. It's something that we don't often see teams really set a focus on. So I like that EDG is doing this. This does open the door for this VODS pick. It will get locked in. It has been one of On's best champions, but Taeyoon has also been very proficient on it.
Yeah, likes to pull this out when he gets his hands on it, and with the poke virus, we know that this can happen. I don't mind this hover actually from EDG, right? We're looking at champs that Cube plays. He's played a lot of games of Rumble, played a lot of games of Yorick as well. So if you want to take away that Yorick from Cube, it wouldn't be an unwise choice to put him on something that, at least in split number 3, might expect him to be a little less comfortable on. As for EDG, though, they instead decide that the Sivir is so high priority that they have to take it here. They already see the enemy AD carry, so they decide that there's no other role that they want to pick in this phase, and just that they want to lock in the Sivir to preserve as much of their composition as they can.
And this really opens the door for some of these more aggressive mid laners to get picked. I think that this could potentially be an Akali game if they play their cards right and the chips fall properly where they want. Monki whiff waffling over on the Trundle, and the Pantheon will end up locking in the Trundle. It seems like it's going to be a tough sell for me, Roodoo, because you have to run at a team that is going to be pretty good at running away.
Yeah, I mean, Jarvan has been an old school answer to Trundle for a long, long time because he's a champion that's so gated by mobility. You just put the Trundle in the Jarvan ult, you EQ yourself out of it, and then he's just a troll stuck in a cage. Like, he can effectively do nothing. This now does mean, though, that if we end up seeing this Yorick get locked in, one of our go-to answers had previously been the Cho'Gath, but Renekton as well is open and available, and I think that increases a little bit in priority here, as you don't really want to pick a tank when you see Trundle on the other side. So taking the Renekton here for WE, or for EDG even, definitely wouldn't surprise me. Jax as well, a pick that can quickly break out of that Dark Procession if necessary, if he can't jump out of it, that is, and means that for EDG they've got themselves a decent enough top matchup, and it's just Cube back on that comfort.
This does mean that Team WE are going to have to play a better 4-man game and try to allow Cube to do his thing on the side lanes. EDZ is going to have to remain tough, hang strong. He's been one of the better top laners in Nirvana. We'll see if he's able to show up in this game and make sure Cube is unable to get his. Second half of bans are being aimed at the supports. That Alistar that we said might have some higher priority, not going to be seen in this game.
Maybe Nautilus gets taken away from Vampire as well here. It's a really good pairing with the Varus. Maybe the Braum if they're thinking of banning away Disengage, because so far EDG do have a very, very engage-focused composition. Yeah, Braum going to get taken off the board here. On and Parukia are even going to have the first pick of their bot laners, and I think that with all of the dive that EDG have so far, makes sense that they might try to take away, a Nautilus, a Rakan maybe even a really good ban to take off the board. If you are WE here, I think that giving that pick in this composition could spell disaster for WE if they go for it, but we were thinking about this through the pre-show, Yanni. The Akali gets taken off the board, and it does signify maybe we're going to get that Talia locked in. Maybe it becomes Angel, takes away the Talia, and maybe the Orianna as well increases a little bit.
Yeah, I think that Talia is a pretty solid shout here, but if they do want to take away that Nautilus, that's both very valid strategies out of EDG here. So now, ball's in your court, WE. What do you want? You want that CC that the Leona provides. Do you want to have a Varus Karma lane and try to take advantage of On and Parukia and set them behind? It's going to be tough, given the fact that there's a Sivir on the other side. So I'm with this Leona pick.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult to take Rakan here. It's even more difficult to take something like a Karma because it pigeonholes your composition so hard into needing to win early on, just because the Karma, much as it can be a great threat for later on in terms of those heals and shields for the team, not necessarily going to be able to provide you nearly as much engage power. The Talia gets locked in. Expect this to be rounded out with an Orianna. The Jarvan Ori combo, just such a tried and tested combination. especially when you've got double immobile backline. Like, it's just going to be so free for Angel and Xiaohao to make this play work. So again, I really quite like what EDG have picked up for themselves. I like the Talia versus all of the dive that there is from EDG, it is worth saying. So laying down that Unraveled Earth, you have Jax, Nautilus, Jarvan, all now an Ahri as well, looking to jump through that. It probably means that the Unraveled Earth can have a decent amount of priority, but I think that there may just be a little bit too much dive for WE to handle, and I don't know that they've got the answers to deal with it all.
Yeah, not too surprised they ended up going for the RE, but, you know, both options are very valid, and you're just going to be able to utilize the Sivir on the hunt just a little bit better, and it's just one other problem that WE have to put out, another fire in the back line if ZDZ shows up to these fights, and, you know, he's not too busy preoccupied with Cuban. For WE, you know, it's going to be really difficult to utilize this Leona as disengaged, so if you want to utilize her as her true role of engage, I mean, Cuba's going to have to show up to some of these fights. You're simply not going to win a 5v4 against this EDG comp.
No, it's just not going to be on the cards, and I think that WE going to need to play very heavily into that potential side laning, into that split push capability, and that's why I really like the Ahri pivot. You know, I was talking a lot about the Orianna getting locked in, but I like the Ahri here because it has a bit more side lane capability and probably can run that side versus the Talia, and shuts down another avenue for WE to try and play this game if they look to play that 1-3-1 through Talia, through Yorick. It then becomes that little bit more difficult. It now pigeonholes them into this 4-1 composition that I do think Talia lends herself to. You've got that semi-global ultimate to help out in that side lane. It's not like there's a massive tank on the flip side for EDG, right? It is a Jax, somebody who is susceptible to getting taken down if he's caught out. So it does give options to WE.
Love that backdrop. We're on the Rift, game 2 of this best of 5 EDG WE. All right, Roodoo. Grubs gonna have a high amount of importance for Team WE here. Talia utilizes them fine, but naturally getting them on the Yorick, even on this Trundle later on, is going to be so key. I think it's gonna be difficult for them though, because EDG, this 3-man pick squad of the Jarvan, the Ahri, and the Nautilus, going to be able to really make odd man fights happen if they're able to find that initial pick.
Yanni, I have a conspiracy theory.
Let's hear it.
I might hold it. Here's on probably fine. Maybe not fine with that pathing. E-start from Vampire, maybe?
He's good. He's good.
No.
All right, what's your conspiracy theory?
If you pick Yorick, you never get grubs.
Yes.
I can't remember seeing a Yorick team get grubs, period. And I think that in this game as well, normally it's a lot about, oh, the denial. We denied grubs from the Yorick. But Jax does really well with some grubs as well, as we are seeing some early scuffling. Level 2 win hit for Xiaohao here.
Monkey's dead. Xiaohao hit level 2 early, and Vampire's dead too. EDG shock Team WE less than 2 minutes in.
Okay, so good news is this is a best of 5 series, and that losing this game actually not the biggest deal. But for EDG, they're looking incredible. It's Xiaohao who's living in their head rent-free. What are we doing, my good man? Oh,
goodness. It's up against the wall, but Parukia, okay, he had to open the shield, so Taeyoon going to be fine in the end, but, you know, I guess it's easy to disrupt Monki if he's going to disrupt himself with that sort of early aggression. Xiaohao, just really a smart decision. They're very shrewd and seem to be already on the back foot.
And I think just with the timing of that, they knew that Monki was looking to do an invade, so Xiaohao able to just take his wolves, gets level 2 off of the big wolf, and then can make a big play. You know, that flag and drag the knock-up, landing across so many members of WE. Really does cost them dearly. Yanni, we're not even 3 minutes into the game and there's a 1k gold lead for EDG. It is a colossal opener for them. And again, we didn't really talk too much about the scaling through this draft, but we know that Sivir scales incredibly well. We know that as we get later on, Jax probably going to have a good time in the side lane versus a Yorick. And I think that just if this game does get to that late stage and there aren't really too many problems for EDG, they're once again going to be more than happy to make it there and more than happy to start out this game with a 1k lead as well.
Yeah, and we already saw On in a scaling pick in the first game and how well he performed. So we're going to see a hook back in. Very good damage coming out here, but Taeyoon able to trade it back. Level 3 compared to the level 2 of everybody else. The big fish in the small pond is Monki and Xiaohao going to mean mug each other for a little bit. Monki is a full level down. They'll take a bite out of Xiaohao. We'll just flag and drag out. So at least Monki getting an early advantage there, but doesn't actually really yield any fruit yet.
The full wave being stacked up for WE there, I think, just a little bit too important. As hold on, Xiaohao has no flash here, so
okay. Well, Cube is forced to flash away, so a nice revisit there from Xiaohao. This will mean that he will get double scuttle.
Yeah, it does mean though that that top side it wasn't able to crash that wave, and yeah, ZDZ goes back to base with a frozen wave. Fortunately, Cube able to TP in quite early. I think he'll be able to break it without really too much concern. So not necessarily the worst case in the world, actually, for that top laner, as WE have been able to stabilize here. Taeyoon did get solo XP for the first couple of waves, which meant that his trading power was actually quite powerful, and it meant that the gold given to Arn from that first blood wasn't actually spent. As we do see, Poverty Sivir build gets picked up despite the 101 scoreline. Slingshot and a call. This is, like I say, this is depression arc for an AD carry, but fortunately he's playing against a Varus. You can get away with this because he's just going to go tier and do nothing for a while.
Are you sure it's depression arc when it's this early in the game? Like,
yes,
I'm going to be honest.
Slingshot is always depression.
Listen,
Period.
It is a little depression. I play a lot of AD carry myself, and I'm a Sivir in this scenario. I'm liking it. I'm not liking this, but guess what? My jungler's here to potentially save the day. Flag and drag going down. They're going to try to turn on the Monki, but Taeyoon is able to get the first kill on flashing forward, and now EDG are looking to go. Xiaohao with a flag and drag up shortly, but it looks like it will not be up in time. Just a 1-for-1 when the dust settles.
Yeah, the context of this bot lane means that it's okay to have these bad items. Unfortunately enough, you get an extra kill there, means that you're going to get pushed to that BF sword that little bit faster. And we're looking at this. Taeyoon was able to pick up a kill there onto Parukia, able to find that quick pickup with the increased damage on that piercing arrow. But had to flash, had to cost himself that really safety net summoner spell. Whilst on, once again, more than happy down on that bot side. Even in CS, but with that cull as well, he's going to be farming up and going to be having that much bigger 2-item hit and getting to that 3-item, 4-item Sivir marker that little bit sooner.
It cost him the dragon as well because Monki was the one who died, so... nice little feather in the cap for EDG as they're the ones able to secure the first objective. Have already secured the feat of warfare. And now we've got 1:40 until these grubs. I wonder if we're going to see any sort of swaps come out here. With how powerful that, I guess I use powerful in quotations because On just by virtue has more items. I wonder if they'll move him and Palkia up very soon.
We get a good little glimpse of that top lane there. There was a window for ZDZ to try and make a play with a level 6 advantage, but he did have a really big freeze in that top side for a while. That did cost Cube quite a lot. You can see he's had to expend a lot of his mana using the E to just farm creeps. As you can see, ZDZ grasped proc off of the W, setting up for what could have been a dive. Maybe Angel would have been happy to sacrifice a wave, but Xiaohao makes his way up here just after having taken the crab, but the wave's already gone. Well, the question is, can they get this wave in time? Look at the minimap. Taeyoon's on his way. Thank you to our observers. They're pushed up against it here. Bit of a timer for EDG to go for this, but I think Taeyoon might just get here.
All right, let's see if he's going to get here in time. Xiaohao, flag and drag is perfect.
Wow.
Cube goes down, flash out. Turret shot, last one. Ooh, on a sliver. Taeyoon is going to try to run him down, but he's so far away. He doesn't have flash. He might have a prayer. He does see the jungle pet. He's getting close, but ZDZ will draw the ire.
Wow. Double.
Taeyoon, no, he won't be able to. Wait, hold on. He's charging up there. He did. He got him. Taeyoon getting it done.
Split 2, Taeyoon's back, baby! That's what we love to see here. Finding the double kill on that top side, punishing EDG for that overextension. And that's exactly what they needed. That first arrow goes wide, he can't find the second. The reset on the Blight means that he's able to get a second round of piercing arrows and takes down both of the top lane members of EDG. That's massive for the bot lane of WE. And in a game number 2 after the game 1 that looked so disastrous, you can see this was such a big commit as well. He loses 4 minions under the turret. He's stepping up to a, 2-item or 2-level leaded Jax. Don't get to see if there was an attempt to juke at all. But he gets 1 auto attack down onto the Jax, which means that his Q is reset just a little bit. And actually able to find both pieces of that nice topside pie.
Taeyoon has come to play today, trying to drag Team WE into the playoffs and out of the play-in. He has held up his end of the bargain. The rest of his team has struggled to do so. Grubs will be secured by EDG, so the curse of Grubs continues for the Yorick squad.
Yorick can never get Grubs. You lock in Yorick, you're immediately conceding Grubs, it feels like. And I mean, EDG will be happy that they're able to pick this up. Jax so far has been running that side lane versus the Yorick. You can see you can really see in the build paths who's feeling more confident, where we've got Cube who's opted straight into the plated steel caps. Yes, it has good value versus Xiaohao as well. But also, you've got ZDZ who's just like, nah dog, give me the Trinity Force, bro, I'm chilling.
We do see On finally has a BF sword, so if any plays are centered around him, he will at least be able to provide some damage. Taeyoon's back means that he might be able to have a little bit more, but I'd imagine things might be a little quiet for the next minute and 10 seconds. That's when the next dragon is going to come up. We're cresting toward the 10-minute mark, and so far, this Yorick is down in CS, not by a ton. Monki has been very quiet outside of that bottom lane play, where it ended up being a 1-for-1. Again, we see this disruption occur and how different Team WE looks when it happens.
I think that the maybe good news for WE was the fact that Taeyoon has frequently been a really solid part of this WE roster from split number 2. I think that the maybe the bad side of that coin is that in split number 3, Taeyoon has been prone to positioning error, has been prone to not being that high level hyper carry. Like even in that last game, finding himself a little bit picked up by Parukia on occasion. So we are seeing both teams here posturing around this bot lane, both playing chicken with each other and not really sure who was where, but a little bit of free time on the top side for Cube here, as we're going to get to see a recall from ZDZ, and maybe he just TPs up to that top side to meet the bot, to meet the top lane.
Yeah, Team WE is really not opting into this 1v1. They really don't want Cube to have to contend against ZDZ. We saw it earlier with Karis going down to relieve him. It meant that Angel was able to take 2 plates in the top side just a couple moments ago. As the Maiden is gone, we are going to see Cube take it back, and a lot of pings on the bot side.
Yeah, so effectively there ZDZ just misses 1 minion to go and take down the Maiden, which is very worthwhile. Maybe trying to force Angel's ulti here, yep.
I'll get it, but it'll take quite a bit of damage for it, down to half HP.
I don't think that's a bad trade here for Monki. He is Trundle. He'll be able to sustain himself back up quite nicely, you'd like to think, as Ori with no ulti before this dragon, and Xiaohao on the top side, triple with the TP as well. They want Cube dead.
Yep, they want to put this guy in the dirt. The cage is out. ZDZ will be able to track him. The CC is there, and Angel will get credit for the kill. It looks like this turret is not long for this world.
Hey, baby, we've got the Grubs. We're happy to lose 1 dragon. We're happy to take down your Yorick, and again, make sure that Cube is feeling very uncomfortable. We saw this behavior in game number 1, where they did try to put a little bit behind on the Rumble. Cube still performed on that champion, but I think that the Yorick are going to have a much more difficult run of things, as it is once again gold being funneled into our MVP from game number 1 in Angel, as he gets 425 isolated gold from that turret. He's going to get an extra wave on that top side as well. WE do not have the Grubs, do not have the ability to really play for this bot side turret. It just means that EDG are going to have a very good play on that top side that doesn't really get an answer.
Yeah, they've been playing so smart because they're just playing away from Taeyoon right now. They know this guy is really strong. He's opted into the poke Varus build here a little bit, and it's got a lot of early power. So avoiding him at all costs, getting gold elsewhere on the map, has been paying off so far for EDG, as they do have about a 2,000 gold lead. 1,000 up is Angels. You mentioned he got that turret funneled right into him. 1 minute and 40 seconds until the Rift Herald is up. I do wonder if EDG thinks that they're strong enough now to be able to opt into a fight where Taeyoon is around.
Yeah, I mean, I would still like to think that they can. Again, that their objective should just be kill Taeyoon. It's not rocket science for EDG. Look at their dive composition. They've got Jax, Jarvan, Nautilus, Ari, all of these champions buffed up by a Sivir ulti as well. Should be able to get access to a Varus.
Okay, Karis, you put your Legos down, but Angel missed the charm, so qualities that you would see in a play-in match maybe at times, as no kill will happen, but a hook goes down into the mid lane here onto Vampire. Vampire doing what he can to tank all this up, but remember, On has that BF sword. No, he's got the Yuntal now, so he does good damage. Vampire will be out, down both summoners.
And again, with the Drake spawning in, 3 minutes, it's rather the Herald that we're looking at. 50 seconds on that and a fair few ultis burned. The flash from Vampire, really that big ticket. There's not as much access now to that backline, means that finding the ability to just go for a quick E flash, maybe a Q flash as well. Catch On off guard, catch Angel out if he's a little bit too far forward without that Spirit Rush does make it even more difficult and pretty much impossible for the next 5 minutes. So those tools that we look at from WE, slowly getting whittled away from, and this WE composition in terms of engage looking very heavily at Vampire to make those plays happen. Without his flash, it's not that easy.
No, and they haven't been able to link up at all in this early game. I mean, the plays have just all been Taeyoon. It was that one bot lane play and then the top lane hero play. And outside of that, Team WE has been incredibly muted so far. We haven't seen Karis use a Weaver's Wall to try to take an odd man fight. We haven't seen Vampire and Monki walk around, be the goon squad that they have been earlier on. And now finally, Team WE looking to set up to make a play. But EDG are scouting this out very well as the dance for the Herald begins.
It really should just be EDG taking this. I mean, for WE, I'm at such a loss for how they can even look to play out any team fights as this game gets later.
So impossible.
I don't think that the game gets much easier for them as EDG have set up first. It means that they're able to peel at will, but also they can't really get pushed off this. The poke from Taeyoon hasn't even started, and EDG have got such good engage tools that you just think that, well, it's probably pretty signed, sealed, and delivered for EDG. Through this second game, they've got a very good couple of options there. Engage tools across the board look very good. If Arn ever decides that he just wants to fight, he can press R and run at people. Helps the rest of his team get in there as well. As long as ZDZ can manage Cube in that side lane, there's never really a win condition for WE.
Cube did just get a little bit of gold by taking out that bot tier 1. And now we have Dragon in less than a minute. The Rift Herald in the back pocket of EDG does mean they should be able to leverage that into a secured Dragon. I do wonder if Team W will force them to use that Rift Herald, because you don't want to leave that opportunity open for the team with 3 grubs. Taking a look, bit of a temperature check. Still 1,000 gold up in the mid lane is Angel. Up on the top side, it's varying between a little bit as finally Team W are trying to make a proactive play. Xiaohao forced to use ultimate and flash, but that's about it. Now ZDZ's on the backside, could be in trouble. Teleport coming in from Angel. It's going to be matched by Cube. Team WE, a 5-man squad here. Charm goes down, and the walls are starting to close in. Rift Herald going to be used as well as a knock-up tool, potentially. Here we go, ZDZ could be in trouble. Vampire going to get hooked, and here comes the Rift Herald. How many? 1, 2, 3 knockups! The Xiaohao breaks up the fight and causes Team WE to be in complete disarray. It's a double kill for Angel. Parukia going a little bit too deep.
Another charm.
ZDZ once more, but he's all alone now. He's getting whittled down, but here's On. Here's On and Angel. Quadra kill for Angel!
And it's Scumbag On who denies the penta, but that seals WE's fate under their turret. It was like sharks in the water, Yanni, just circling some helpless children. The Herald from one side, Angel and ZDZ from the other. EDG just collapsed on WE and absolutely tore them to shreds.
When did they give Jarvan another knockup in his kit?
He already had one.
Yeah, the ghetto knockup gets the job done. ZDZ takes the mid turret. EDG secures the Dragon. They broke the game wide open with that heads-up play.
Yeah, it was... I mean, look at what they got off of that. So frequently you'll see teams caught in two minds as to what they want to do. After that play, they got bot and mid-tier 1 and the dragon as well. They knew exactly what they were going for. Angel here just fishing, just keeping them a little bit occupied, a little bit tempted to try and go for a fight. And you can see that they even turned for an engage. WE, this entire time, they just need to run. There is no fight here for you. It does not look good. Jarvan comes in with the triple bowling ball, locks up 3 people. You've got Monki again doing what he can to try and disrupt with the pillar. But there's nowhere near enough. Parukia landing some pretty good hooks in all fairness. And even under this turret, it's fully ramped up at this point. Look at the damage it's doing on the majority of these hits. But there's a ricochet that connects on, flashes under the turret to try and take people down. Like, no mercy Sivir in this game.
Not at all, Roodoo. Now, with a lot of summoners down, the one player that does have his summoners is Angel with that flash up. 5-0-1. He's on 2 items. He's got the Dark Seal fully stacked up. Otacon in 45 seconds. And EDG have been landing haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. Their late game scaling champions are in a great spot. ZDZ's up 1,000 gold. On is even with Taeyoon, despite Taeyoon having that early lead. And honestly, if that's what you're getting, you're going to buy into that every single time.
And if it is EDG that closed this game out and that looked very convincing with this, make it a nice 2-0 to start off the series. I mean, questions begin to rise about the nature of their second seed, almost, with NIP and FPX going the full distance yesterday. You know, NIP having bested EDG previously, I think the expectation was that NIP maybe just a slightly better team coming out of Ascend, or coming out of Nirvana, excuse me. But the way EDG are playing here, up against a much more formidable opponent, it's worth saying. WE definitely scarier than FPX, as they're looking for another fight.
Yeah, Angel with Taeyoon over on the side. He gets rooted up. This is not a fight that Angel is winning, though. Here we go. Big stuns coming out. Knockups are there. Is EDZ on the back line. Vampire will fall. And now he's dealing with Monki, forcing him away from this Otacon. We didn't talk about the throw magnet, but yes, the throw magnet is showing up to play right now.
Angel's base, though, he lost that trade. He's got TP to come back into this fight if he needs to. TP's into the mid lane, so he's going to get push on that as well. But now a wall.
Yep, that Weaver's wall. Oh, the timing. It stops EDZ. He's stuck in the corner right now, just trying to survive. Monki barreling down on him, and they find the kill. And now On going to be the next target here. Xiaohao going to try to link up with him. Angel over on the side here. Doesn't have his ultimate. Doesn't land any of these skill shots. Vampire is coming back soon as well to try to sandwich these guys and corral them around. Angel
no ulti
desperately just trying to buy some time, but he's going to walk right into Vampire, and he gets caught up in all the CC, and now he's caught in the cage, and he's not doing fine. Shut down to Q.
First time that Angel dies this series is at a pivotal juncture around the Otacon. WE are still down 3,000 gold, but they've got the control with no solo laners on EDG's side. They will be able to take the Otacon here. Blood Roses are even for the time being. Let's see how much this balloons into their favor. With the levels, with the gold and the stats that they will get from this, this could be what they needed to level that playing field.
Thankfully, they were already a little even. Now your solo laners have level leads. Monki's got a level lead. Let's take a look at the replay. Teams do this all the time, man.
Yeah. Taeyoon, really solid performance this entire game. Sidestepping the charm, chunking Angel so he's not a part of this fight. And then ZDZ goes in, takes down Vampire with the help of Arn. But he just commits a little bit too far forward here. And WE, knowing that this is a 4 versus 3, you can see they're a little bit hesitant. But at some point, there must have been some communication from Taeyoon. Ori's out of this fight. Let's go in. And unfortunate on the timing from ZDZ there, the wall coming up bops him out of it. And On, he positions himself a little bit aggressively to try and give him that jump. Either way, they chase down the mid laner afterwards, and EDG now a little bit further behind than they were previously. Or not as far ahead, I should say, as they were previously. But they're still within firm control.
Cube doing things up on the top side here. We'll be able to take that top tier 1. All of a sudden, the game is tilted toward WE a little bit. They are down about 2,000 gold. They're not out of the woods yet, but are certainly feeling a little bit better. Good shout on Taeyoon as well, because that fight doesn't happen without him. And now we have 10 seconds until another dragon. EDG looking for their third. Team WE looking to break whatever stacking EDG is trying to bring to the table.
They would love to get Taeyoon a base to finish off that mirror mana, but I just don't think it's possible. I don't even know if he's got the 1400 gold required, as we can see Xiaohao here just looking to try and fish for a unique angle into this fight. Taeyoon still has flash, so getting caught by that equalizer, not a bigger deal.
They
Ulti
got
from Angel
ult
to dodge the flick. That's pretty big. Now Angel forced to try and make something happen.
The hook going down on a Vampire. Here comes the teleport from the Jax. Coming from the side is Xiaohao looking for big knock. Comes the Cataclysm. Taeyoon is stuck for right now. He has no way out. Angel onto Karis. Oh no, they found Taeyoon. A big play by Parukia means that EDG win the fight and the dragon is theirs for the taking.
And where is our top laner? Once again, it's Cube off in the side lane, and it's WE looking to find a fight that they have no right to try to find. Yes, they may end up getting that top tier 2 turret, but that's now Soul Point going over to EDG. And it's a massive expenditure of summoner spells as well. Karis no flash, Taeyoon no flash. And now when we're going to have Baron spawning in 50 seconds, with EDG having such a gold lead, it will be really easy for them to try to turn onto these high profile carries, onto these immobile carries as well. But Angel, no flash, no ulti, he's been spotted bot lane.
Overstaying his welcome, Karis is going to come in here with the Weaver's Wall, and Xiaohao realizes his mid laner is cooked.
Second death there for Angel, and those stacks on the Dark Seal are starting to subside quite heavily, but it really was him that started off this fight. Yes, he gets caught by that pillar and then forced to ulti, but he's the one who re-engages this. Uses that charm for something greater, forces Vampire to be put in a really rough spot as well. He's able to flash over the second half of the Boomerang Blade, but as soon as Xiaohao comes in, it's just a little bit too easy, and Taeyoon just wasting a little bit too much time in that Cataclysm there, meaning waiting for the threat to reach him instead of thinking about what could happen after the fact. He does get to go back to base, finish off that mirror mana, but again, with no flash on a Varus, like, you're just so scared of Jarvan ever getting on your screen.
And Cube, with the extra gold he got off that play up on the top side, is elected to opt into some resistances. He's got a Negatron cloak. He's got a chain vest. He doesn't have any extra, power and damage, but a little bit more survivability, as it's going to be time soon for him to make an impact again in some of these fights, in these skirmishes. 3 minutes till the dragon is a bit of a ways off, but he is going to have to link up with Team WE. If you lose another soul, you're going to lose the game.
Yeah, it's about him trying to find that Jack Show money and then maybe trying to be a part of a fight after the fact. It's not quite able to find the flick there onto Angel would have definitely been a good amount of damage, as we are just looking, fishing, trying to find that Ahri ulti. Fortunately for EDG is that Angel has been so proactive when it gets burned, and he then tries to make something extra happen with it. Baron now live though, Yanni. We've got 3-item Sivir, 3-item Ahri, and a stasis on ZDZ as well.
They're starting it.
They turn, they hit it.
We're going to shotgun a Baron here. Parukia going to land the hook on a Monki. Everybody's on top of him. Nobody's around to help him. He flashes out. He's still alive thanks to the subjugate, healing up as best he can. Looking for Parukia, who's low, but he gets hooked up again. Monki
Taeyoon's
still
on.
alive. Backside, Angel and ZDZ trying to do their thing, but Cube gets the kill. The turn's on to ZDZ. He's got the helicopter. He stuns both of them, and he's going to look to finish off Vampire. Meanwhile, Cube can handle On and Xiaohao. They take down Vampire. Ends up being a 4 for 2 for EDG, and the Baron has been started.
And it is just too easy for EDG. No flash on the carries means that they are just sitting ducks. There's nothing really for them to do. And EDG, they need any fight. Any fight is a good fight, and they make good on that promise. They're able to walk their way in, turn with the Jarvan, turn with the Nautilus, and find themselves the Baron to boot.
Team WE in dire straits. It is a tough game for them to play out. You said it earlier, these team fights were going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, Hex Flash from Fog sets it up nicely, and they get baited in almost, thinking that they can take down Parukia. But Taeyoon, his Edge of Night gets procced early, and he just gets jumped on. I will say it's a great Dark Procession from Cube to buy a little bit of space from the Jax, if anything. But unfortunately, you can't do that versus an Ahri who's got triple dashes and is more than happy to take you down. Monki as well, not really a part of this fight. He was caught out early, subjugated Parukia, but even the Nautilus wasn't taken down initially, didn't give them that opportunity to find that fight. And I just think that for WE, these fights are so tricky. They just don't quite have that damage. What is their consistent DPS in these skirmishes? It's not an on-hit virus. It's coming from Talia, who's been put so far behind the curve that she's struggling to ever get there. She's gone for double defensives as well in the Seraphs and the Zonyas. So just the Liandry's for a true damage item in that mid-game. You know, you need that fourth item. We need that Void Staff. We need a Rabadons. We need Shadow Flame. Something to come through for Karis before he can start, you know, really consistently being that DPS threat.
And it's just not happening yet. It's so hard in this particular game because, you know, if you can play it front to back, Talia can have a lot of usefulness, but it's just such a difficult front to back here. As we're going to see a double knockup coming out. They're going to try to pick off Monki, and they get him again. Now they're going to look for Vampire. Seismic Shove gets him a little bit closer. His Angel is going to use the last Spear Rush, get to the backside. Taeyoon falls. Karis is dead, and I think that's it, Roodoo. EDG 4-0. Cube is the only one who can try to stop this Baron assault on the base.
They've got Baron for another minute, and they've got a minion wave pouring in. EDG looking good here, Yanni. This is the second game in a row where they've got a lead and they've not let go.
And they are not going to let Cube survive. He will fall. The Nexus turrets will fall. And EDG are up 2-0 against Team WE. Rafa was right. Rafa might be right.
Rafa might be right here, Yanni. 2-0 start for EDG. Job's not done just yet.
No.
One more game needed. But once again, it does just look like these two teams are playing on completely different wavelengths. And for WE as well, think about the turnaround in this performance from a team that 2-0'd AL just last week to coming into a series versus the second seed from Nirvana. And they're 0-2 down in a best of 5 here. This is a complete contrast, a complete difference, a complete mockery, really, of that performance that they had up against Anyone's Legend.
Yeah, it was, honestly, it just looks like a completely different team at this point. I do not know what has happened to Team WE since then. They look all out of sorts. The Monki Vampire Battery is just not performing to expectations in this series. They've been really unable to move around. I think Xiaohao has done a really good job of, you know, being where he's anticipating Monki to be and just being one step ahead. And these early skirmishes are just going the way of EDG at times. In game one, wasn't necessarily that way, but started turning once you got to the Rift Herald fight. In game two, it was all EDG from the start.
I mean, for me here, this is just a game that showcases why WE's Yorick has been so, I'm going to call it topsy-turvy, let's say. Because their map play, again, it's just not quite understanding what Cube wants to do. There are so many times that they get engaged on that they're stood up for a fight where Cube's just not a part of it, where there is no Yorick, where there's just nothing being provided in that side lane, or not enough being provided in that side lane. When you're playing these 1-4 compositions, you're looking to just wave clear, let your one do the hard work. And there was a gold lead for Cube. He had the opportunity to maybe try and find some fights up against EDZ. Like the winning lane existed. They just never quite stuck to it.
Nope, it did not happen. And all the credit in the world to Taeyoon. He did what he could this game. Just got incredibly hard. It's so difficult playing up against the Jarvan. Once you're losing your summoners, you're just stuck. You have nowhere to go once he ults on top of you. And we saw it a couple of times, him just, you know, get stunned up, and it's so difficult. I give him, again, all the credit in the world. He's trying to do what he can to make Team WE relevant in these games. He's just unable to. He needs help from somebody on his squad.
And I mean, the way that WE had been winning games was through Monki, right? He had the joint first most player of the games through the regular split. He was the proponent of this WE roster that was looking to thrive. And, you know, so far through this series, our question was going to be, can Parukia, can Xiaohao live up to the expectation and live up to the Ascend standards? And that's been far surpassed at this stage.
Without a doubt. You see there 100% kill participation for Xiaohao. It's a little easy on Jarvan sometimes, you know. His standard is going to give you a lot of credit, but he was all around the map making plays and Where he went, the rest of EDG followed. So we see this nice alternate angle of the replay of what felt like Team WE's best play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, from here, Taeyoon, he does such a good job. He gets 2 for the price of 1, really, where he shouldn't have really got any. And then we roll into the rest of the highlights of WE just getting slaughtered. I mean, this fight in particular, the Jarvan Herald once again, double, triple. We love to see it. He's straight in there. I mean, even that flag and drag, to be honest, I think he was a little bit scared. I think if he'd have maybe angled that a little bit more aggressively, could have probably just been 5 kills outside of the turret. But, they are just looking like such a cohesive unit at this stage, EDG, that WE have got no real chance at contending with them.
Nope, not at all. That was the big fight that really put EDG in the driver's seat and made it so, even though this fight did not exactly go their way, they were able to, survive the fact that they lost the Otacon and lost the fight.
Yeah, again, this is a game where they didn't have Otacon. You're quite right that, imagine if they did, how much easier it might have been for them.
Oh my goodness.
EDG are completely tearing them to shreds, and WE just look a little bit lost in the sauce, unfortunately. Again, this is another fight. Where's my top lane? Oh, he was split pushing top lane this time. Same again. And it's not necessarily Cube's fault, it's worth saying, that WE are taking this fight in the first place. But that they're just looking for these fights when they shouldn't be. And they're not quite grouped up enough. And they're not quite in the same position as they need to be to make the right plays that they're going for.
Yeah, and they've won now. I mean, not anymore because now it's a loss, and he's 4-4 in the champion. But they were 4-3 when Cube was on Yorick before this match, so they do understand how to play out a Yorick composition. But in this game, just too many times they got caught in fights or decided to be up a little bit too far when the Yorick wasn't around, as you stated, and big difference maker in some of them. Right, him not being there, especially having that much gold on him, right. It's hard to win a fight 5v4. We said it in the pregame that this was something that was liable to happen to Team WE. That's exactly what happened in a lot of these fights and a big reason why they lost. Roodoo, who do you think is our MVP for game 2?
I see Xiaohao. I wouldn't be against that. I see On. I kind of don't see Angel as much. He did have a fair few deaths in this game, but I think he was, again, making a lot of the plays happen, so I'm not opposed specifically. I think it goes Xiaohao, on Parukia, then Angel, and again ZDZ is not playing badly. He's just, that this team has never been about top lane. As long as he doesn't feed over to Cube, they're going to do fine, and that's kind of what the vibe has been.
All right, I want Xiaohao. It is Xiaohao. Yeah. That Rift Herald play just put the game out of reach at that point as far as I'm concerned, because again, if you throw it Otacon and don't lose, well, it means that your lead was large enough to begin with. So the EDG jungler getting the better of Monki in game 2 as he did in game 1. And now Team WE, Roodoo, with their backs against the wall, trying to survive, trying to make sure that even their potential gauntlet run hopes will remain alive. They have a long mountain to climb, but the longest of journeys begin with a single step. And we're going to take a single step onto a break. And when we return, it could be the final game of the series. EDG looking for the clean sweep. Team WE fighting to stay alive. We'll see you on the other side.